Hey guys, today on this marketing channel I am doing an in-depth review of Camtasia Studio 9, which is a video editing software combined with screen capture software. Camtasia sells for $199, and really I want to help you to answer two main questions with this review. Number one, will it help editors to improve the quality of their videos? And number two, will it save you time in producing your videos? Before you purchase, I think you need to have a solid answer to both of those questions. To give you these answers, I will show you around the software. I will show you what Camtasia is capable of doing. Then we will look at how it is organized, plus how it performs. There's also a breakdown of this video in the description in case you just want to see how a certain feature works. First up is the layout. The software is divided into four main sections: media and effects, canvas, properties, and the timeline. The media and effects section is where you will store all the media which you're using for your current project. These can be videos, audio, or images. Effects are also located in this section. These video enhancers include features such as animations, behaviors, and other audio-video effects. The canvas will show you what the final video looks like, and it is also possible to make edits to your media directly on the canvas. So this is kind of like a preview area. In the properties area, you can adjust the particular details of each piece of content. The properties are different for each type of content. The choices include options such as size, color, fonts, and speed. The timeline is where you will do the bulk of your editing. All your media will be organized here on your timeline. This layout is a definite improvement over Camtasia Studio 8. The setup is clean, which makes it easy to use. Once you understand how everything works together, you can edit your videos pretty quickly with this layout. A big reason people buy this software is for the screen capture element. So let me show you what it can do. For screen capture, you have multiple audio and video options that you can customize. To bring up the recorder, you click the record button in the top left-hand corner. This brings up the screen recorder application. You can record your entire screen or just choose a portion of the screen to record. If you want to lock the recording to a certain application, you can do that too. One nice feature is that you can record your webcam with your screen at the same time. This is great for making tutorial videos on your computer. The software will record both video streams separately, so you can easily adjust them in the editing process later. For audio, you can record from any connected mic or your computer's microphone. It also gives you the option to record your computer's system audio. This means, for example, if you are watching a video on YouTube while recording the system audio, your screen capture will also record the audio from the YouTube videos at the same time. The system audio is recorded on a separate track from your microphone audio, so it is easy to separate the two out. The screen capture quality you get from the application looks very crisp without any pixelation. As far as performance problems while using the screen capture, I haven't encountered any. It doesn't seem to slow my computer down at all. That is always a concern with doing screen capture because you don't want your computer starting to freeze up while you're in the middle of something. The screen capture is top notch. But once you get the initial recording, what options do you have for editing it? Well, for most users, the editing process is what turns a good video into a great video. This means we need features that make the editing process easy. So let's see how easy the software is to use. The first tab on the left-hand side is your media tab. This is where you will store your media assets, such as video, audio, or images. The nice thing is that Camtasia supports a wide variety of formats for your video, audio, and images, so you shouldn't run into any problems while importing different file types. To import a piece of media, you click the plus sign in the bottom left corner of the pane. From here, you can select the media that you want to add into your media bin. Then when you need to add the media to your video, you drag it from the bin onto the timeline. As a little bonus, Camtasia provides you with a starter library. The starter library includes icons, motion graphics, including intro clips and lower thirds, animated backgrounds, and music tracks. The selection is not very extensive, but it is nice to have a few options ready to use. Here are a couple examples which are included: lower thirds, icons, and an intro clip. The library is available to all of your projects, but the media bin is empty every time you start a new project. If you have an introduction you use for each video, you can add it to the library so you don't have to rebuild it every time you start a new project. From here, the rest of the features are mostly effects you can use to edit or improve your video. I'll show you what the effects are while giving you a little demo of how they work. The first effect you can add is called Annotations. These are comments that you can add to your video. There are a few different types of annotations. You have text-based annotations called callouts, arrows and lines, shapes, highlights, blurs, sketches, and callouts for keystrokes. To use an annotation, you can click it to drag it onto the timeline or directly onto the canvas. You can move it around on the canvas so it is exactly where you want it. Each of the annotations has a variety of adjustable properties such as drop shadow, size, opacity, font options, and borders. Editing text on the callouts is done by clicking on the text, then typing in the text you want to add. Arrows and lines can be used to point out something on the video. Shapes can be used to highlight an area or act as a design element. Blur and highlight allow you to either focus in on a certain part of the screen or to hide a certain part of the screen. Blur and pixelate will hide a certain area of the video, while spotlight will darken the rest of the screen to focus attention on a certain section of the video. Highlight gives us a yellow highlighter effect. Interactive hotspots allow you to add a clickable link in the middle of your video. This can be used on certain video formats but will not work on sites like YouTube. Sketch gives the appearance of a circle, box, arrow, or check mark being sketched on the screen. This can be useful for highlighting certain parts of the video. Keystroke callouts are used to demonstrate what keys need to be pressed at a certain time. Transitions are used for scene changes. They allow you to transition from one scene to the next in a few different ways. For example, one transition allows you to fade from one scene into the next. Another transition gives you a page turning effect, which brings a different feel to the scene change. Other transition options include flip, ripple, slide, circle stretch, or dissolving. The transitions are easy to use. You just have to click the transition, then drag it onto the beginning or end of a video. To make this even easier, Camtasia will highlight the areas where the transition can be used. Behaviors are action effects which can be applied to your media assets. These are new features for Camtasia Studio 9. You can make your annotations slide onto the screen, drift onto the screen, or even pop up. There are 7 different behaviors you can choose from. They can be used on text, images, or video. The properties for the behaviors include speed and direction. Each behavior has 3 distinct points. The first is how it behaves when it enters the scene, then while it is on the scene, how it acts, then how it acts as it leaves the scene. This feature is definitely the biggest change from Camtasia Studio 8. I think it's a great addition. It makes the software much better in terms of editing, and there are a lot of different ways you can apply this to the pieces of media that you are working on. Animations allow you to adjust the zoom and opacity of your media objects. When you add an animation to an object, on your timeline you will see something which looks like an arrow with a dot at either end. You can adjust the length of this arrow to adjust the length of the animation. Your zoom pan function is the first tab under animations. Zooming is simple. You focus the zoom box around the part of the screen you want to focus on. The second tab provides you with different animations which will affect the opacity, location, or size of the object. There's also an option to use something called Smart Focus. Smart Focus will automatically zoom into the part of the video it thinks you want to highlight. You will have to double check to make sure that it did it correctly, as it's just making its best guess. Animations are pretty easy to use. The biggest animation I am constantly using is the zoom feature. I rarely touch the other animations. Cursor effects allow you to see easily where the cursor is. This makes it easier for the viewer to see what's happening on your screen. This is only going to be used for screen capture recording, so it's definitely useful for screen captures. You can cast a spotlight on your cursor, magnify it, or highlight it. This makes it easier for your viewers to see your cursor. You can also turn on certain effects for your mouse clicks, such as ripples or scopes. It is a good feature if you are going to be doing a lot of screen captures. The voice narration feature is pretty straightforward. You can narrate what is happening on your timeline while you watch the video play. This makes it easy to match up your voice narration with the video as it plays. Audio effects let you fade the sound in or out, remove background noise, and reduce volume spikes to give you a level volume. If you are using background music with your audio, the fade feature is pretty important. To use it, you just click on the audio effect and then drag it onto the audio clip. You can adjust the audio levels by clicking on your audio line to add different audio points as well. Then you can drag these audio points up or down to increase or decrease the volume. Clip speed allows you to adjust the length of a video or audio clip. With Camtasia Studio 8, you are limited to shortening a clip by 400%. They've removed this limitation with the new Camtasia Studio 9. You can now shorten the clip by any percentage. To me, this is an important update. This clip shortening feature is useful when you want to speed up a scene instead of removing it. The clip speed can be adjusted in the properties area, or you can just adjust the clip speed directly on the timeline. Visual effects are mostly focused around color adjustments. The visual effects can be added to both images or videos. The visual effects allow you to adjust drop shadows, borders, color tints, colors, remove colors, clip speed, and interactive hotspots. Color adjustment allows you to adjust the brightness, contrast, and saturation of the picture. Colorize allows you to add a color tint. Remove a color allows you to remove a certain color from the video. This is useful when you're working with a green screen, for instance. Your lighting has to be pretty good in order to use a green screen. Otherwise, it is not going to work very well. Interactive hotspot is used for certain types of video formats, but will not work with something like YouTube videos. It allows you to add a link to a website on the video or automatically pause the video at a certain position. Interactivity allows you to add a quiz to the video so people can actually respond in the video with their answers. This will not work, again, if you're using something like YouTube, but you can use it if you're using it on your own website. And this can be a useful option if you are creating a training product. I myself have not had much use for this feature yet. Closed captioning allows you to add closed captioning to your videos so you can match it up with the timeline. Let's move on to editing your videos. In this section, we'll talk about using the timeline and tracks. In the canvas area, you can zoom, trim media, or pan your view. The canvas area is also interactive, so you can click directly onto a media object on the canvas to select it, move it, or resize it. You also have the option to zoom in on the timeline, which allows you to work on fractions of a second. This makes it easier to edit short pieces of audio or video. On the timeline, you can have multiple tracks. Each track is essentially a layer. Track number 1 is the bottom layer. Track number 2 is the next layer higher. The higher track numbers are higher layers on your video. When track 1 and track 2 both have images at the same point on the timeline, for instance, the image on track 2 will show up on top of the image on track 1. Adding tracks to the timeline is done by dragging the piece of media which you want to use onto the timeline. Then you can drag it to the appropriate place on the timeline. You can also lock each track so no changes can be made to it, or if you need to, you could hide a track from displaying at all. If you need to shorten a video, you click on the end of the video to drag it to where you want it to finish. If you made a mistake shortening the video, it is easy to fix. You can click the end again to drag it back out to the original length. To split a piece of media, you move the playhead to where you want to split the track, then click on the split button. This allows you to move each piece to where you need it to be. You can also use the red and green playheads to select a selection of the timeline. Then you can copy, cut, or delete that section of your video. If you have video and audio both on the same track, you can split them onto separate tracks easily. Just right-click on the track to select the option to separate tracks. Adding effects is done by dragging the effect onto the media object on the timeline. It is also possible to drag the effects directly onto the preview canvas. On the canvas, you can click the edges of an object to resize it. To rotate the object, you can click the middle button to rotate it. When editing the text, you double-click on the text on the canvas to start typing. When you choose any effect, the media objects on the timeline which will work with the effect will be highlighted. When you are happy with your video, it's time to turn it into your finished product. You have a number of production options to choose from. You can create a local file on your computer, or you can produce and upload the video directly onto a number of websites. For instance, you can upload it immediately to Vimeo or YouTube. There is the option to produce a video as an MP4 Windows Media Video, AVI, or a GIF. I found the quality of the produced videos to be quite high. There's no pixelation, blurring, or anything like that. Even when you're zooming into a certain part of the screen, it still shows up fairly clear. In my opinion, the software is easily worth the $199 they're asking for. It produces high quality video, editing is easy as well as powerful. I haven't run into any problems with the screen capture software or the editor. I haven't had any of the programs crash on me. I also find that the features are enough for most needs. I haven't been in the position where I was looking for the option to do something that I couldn't. It seems to cover all the essentials quite well. It's a little hard for me to say how difficult it is to get used to the software because I've been using Camtasia Studio 8 for a while now and it's quite similar. So the learning curve for me has been pretty low. And one of the nice things is you can also download a free trial from Camtasia to use it for 30 days so you can see how well it works for your purposes. The free trial should help you figure out if you like it or not. If it is important for you to produce high quality videos and you are going to be using the screen capture software, then I would recommend this product for you. You've seen all the features in action, so I hope that you will know whether this software is right for your purposes by now. Thanks for watching. If you want more videos like this one, you can subscribe to get them as they are released. Thanks and take care.